Niache insurance yako nitumie kabla nijipange.
Insurance ya gari haiwezi kuwa transferred kwa mtu mwingine.
Sina habari na nikuulize, hii comprehensive insurance inakava vitu gani?
Comprehensive motor insurance inakava gari linapoharibika wakati wa ajali pamoja na uharibifu wa mali ya mtu mwingine, gari likiibiwa au likichomeka. Pia inakava passenger wa gari lako na passenger wa lile gari lingine kunapotokea ajali.
Kwani umenisahau mimi kama driver?
Dereva hakui covered na comprehensive insurance, ila anajitafutia personal accident cover.
Umenichanua. Rose, hata nishughulikie hiyo insurance, nitakujia gari kesho.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA. IRA, bima bora kwa taifa.
I'm not his father. He's not my son. You've made a big mistake. I'm supposed to pick up as a girl in her late 20s. White skin, long legs, not a little kid like him. Answer me. Are you Xiaobai?
Daddy, I'm Xiao.
No, don't call me that.
Is this Xiaobai the girl who hosted us in America? The one with the long legs, white skin, and sweet Taiwanese accent?
Yeah, that's her.
His mother just passed away, and you are his father.
Huh?
Good afternoon and welcome to Channel 1 Lunchtime News on this day that is quite instrumental, and especially when we talk about the BBI journey. This is after the Senate, a majority of them, passed the second reading of the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020. Of course, one senator has abstained from the vote. 52 have actually approved, and 12 have disapproved. Of course, there is a third reading coming up in the afternoon, and they will be just passing the clauses themselves. But as things stand, is that the BBI Amendment Bill 2020 is way on its way to becoming a referendum reality. You do remember that it was passed without amendments after the Senate, the Senate Speaker, Kenneth Lusaka, actually threw the amendments out, of course, which had brought a lot of divisions in the chambers. It's now just a step away from being actualized as it did in Parliament last week. Of course, our reporter Kamche Menza is there, and she will be coming with all the latest of what has transpired in the first session this morning to this moment. My name is Ben Troy Njue. Welcome, and Anne Wangeshi will be helping us with the sign language interpretation. Let's make this interactive on all our social media platform at Ben Troy Njue, at KBC Channel 1, of course on Facebook, on Twitter, and also on YouTube. You can leave your comment, suggestion, or even where you are watching us from. But that aside, let's head straight to the news, where residents of Garissa County have been urged to strictly adhere to the COVID-19 safety measures in all prayer grounds during the Eid ul-Fitr celebrations to avoid a surge in cases. Health CEC Robles Nuno ordered Eid celebrations prayers to be held in open grounds and in compliance with containment measures put in place by the Ministry of Health.
Garissa County CEC in charge of health, Roble Nuno, is warning Muslim faithful against flouting Ministry of Health COVID-19 prevention protocols as they prepare to end the holy month of Ramadan.
The maintenance of 1.5 to 2 meters distance to be marked with immediate effect on all the grounds. All ablution blocks shall remain closed.
At a press briefing, Nuno said the faithful should only be at prayer venues, which should be open grounds for 2 hours, and instructed children under 13 years of age and elderly aged 58 and above to remain at home.
Children below 13 years and elderly above 58, especially those with underlying health conditions, shall not be allowed in the prayer grounds and mosques. Individuals should come to the prayer grounds or mosque with their own prayer mats.
Sheikh Hassan Ame, who represented the imams and other stakeholders, emphasized on the importance of social distancing, washing hands, sanitizing and wearing of face masks.
Serikali pia watatusaidia. Askari tunataka hasa askari wa traffics tunataka watusaidie kabla watu hata hawajaingia, pamoja na askari ya county government yote watusaidie kabla watu hawaja kuja hizo area, wahakikishiwe kama wameshatimiza hizo masharti.
Muslim faithful will celebrate Eid al-Fitr this Friday, a religious holiday marking the end of the month-long dawn to sunset fasting of Ramadan.
And now to the just released KCSE results. Celebrations for top performance in the just released KCSE results continued in the second day running. The students, teachers and parents expressing their gratitude over the results. Ruth Wamboi takes a look at celebrations galore in different counties.
It was jubilations at Alliance High School as students and parents celebrated exemplary results in the KCSE 2020 released yesterday by Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha. Kimunya Dennis Washira, a student at Alliance High School, is celebrating his success being amongst the best under 16 students in the country with a straight A's.
Tarajia kufanya vizuri hivi hata kama ilikuwa dream yangu kuitwa, na nafurahia leo nimesoma.
Gisheru 17, who topped in Northeastern region in the 2016 KCPE examinations, was among the top 100 performers in Alliance High School.
That no matter what, I had to pass in my examination so that I can get that good course that I'm going to do in the university.
And at Edinburgh schools in Muranga, teachers joined the students to celebrate an improvement from the last year's average mean grade of 7.8 to 8.02.
I've gotten the KCSE results. I intended to medicine.
Our performance in the 2020 KCSE. We have been able to present 18 candidates in our boys' school and 16 candidates in our girls' school.
In Narok County, celebratory mood filled the air despite the county being ranked high with teenage pregnancies.
Efforts, it was a teamwork as an Anesta group of schools, especially for East and for C. So
at St. Mary's Stevens Secondary School, the school recorded a mean grade of 6.67, up from 6.2 in the previous year. Elsewhere, celebrations engulfed Kaplobotwa village in the remote area of Soin Sigowet sub-county in Kericho County after 19-year-old Purity Chepkoech scored an A of 82 points in the just-released KCSE results. Chepkoech was among the few selected young Kenyan scientists who traveled to Nigeria for science competition.
The secret behind my success was actually God. I put God before everything as I studied and also working smart and following all the advices that.
And the Friends School Kamusinga had all to smile after the school got 13 A's and 81 A minuses.
It's not a surprise to us because even when we were doing the KCSE, they were very committed, very disciplined. This year we want to work for 10.5.
Meanwhile, parents, teachers and pupils of schools of Angel Sophia in Matu, Machakos County celebrated after Christine Danu scored B- in the KCSE 2020. Danu, a student from very poor background, could not hide her joy.
Kwenda University ya Nairobi, nataka kusomea journalism na nawashukuru walimu wangu kwa kunifunza na kunipea mwongozo mzuri.
Sio kuanguka. Kama wakufanya vizuri katika mtihani wa darasa la 8, wasikufe moyo, wajitie bidii, na kama mtoto anaonyesha tamaa ya kuendelea kusoma, mzazi asimfunje moyo.
In Nairobi, Glorious Secondary School in Embakasi South at Mukuru Kwanjenga celebrated a good performance by the class of 2020. The school at the heart of a slum setting has managed to produce B's and C pluses despite the slum challenges.
Our school is located in slums area, but I've been able to cope with the challenges because I've always been working hard in my studies and also praying.
Ruth Wamboy for Channel 1 News.
Again, congratulations to all the students who sat for their KCSE amidst all the challenges. Let's now focus on security matters, where police in Laikipia West have recovered 191 cattle that had been stolen by bandits in an ongoing security operation in the area. According to the multi-agency security team, residents who had lost their cattle are now free to visit Ngarwa police station in Laikipia to identify their animals. The multi-agency security team from Laikipia and Baringo counties has been leading an operation to track down bandits terrorizing locals, warning that they will leave no stone unturned until all criminals are arrested.
Laikipia West are thankful to the government for initiating a search for at least 191 cattle that were allegedly stolen by bandits.
Tunashukuru sana serikali ikiongozwa na County Commander Laikipia na timu yake ya operation, sababu ya ushirikiano mzuri kwenda kutoa ng'ombe huko, kuleta Laikipia ranchi, kuleta baka huko kwa wananchi. Hapana kazi rahisi.
Ile kitu tuko nayo ni kurudisha shukrani mingi kwa serikali kwa kulingana na vile inatufanyia kazi, sababu bereni tulikuwa naangalia tukaona serikali hakuna kitu inatufanyia, sababu ni leo tunaona serikali imeletwa sehemu hii, inaletwa sehemu ile ingine, lakini hakuna kitu ilikuwa nafanyika.
A number of locals would arrive at the Ngarwa police station following a call by the multi-agency team that has been leading recovery operations in the area.
Na leo tumekuja kutabua ng'ombe zetu ambazo zilikuwa zimeibiwa 2017 kuja mbele, na watu wameziona, wengine tumeziona. Naona kama watu wengi sana wametabua ng'ombe zao.
Tuko na ng'ombe 191 ambayo tumenyang'anya mikora, ingawa walipoona polisi walitoroka wakaenda na tukachukua hizo ng'ombe. Tuko nazo.
Eunice Mumbi's confidence in the justice system is restored after she found her lost cattle.
Nina furaha kwa maana mimi naona ng'ombe yangu hapa kwa police station. Kwetu ni Kamweje location. Huko juu pale mnasikia iko maneno vita mingi kila siku sisi hapana lalaga. Lakini kama siku hizi hii askari malikuja tunalala.
Laikipia County Police Commander Maxwell Nyaema reassuring residents in the region that the government will not rest until all bandits terrorizing locals are arrested.
Hiyo yote tutamalizana nayo, na hii Marita Agency operation itaendelea mpaka tuhakikishe tumetoa bunduki zote na mikora yote msituni.
Last month, Kenyan security personnel launched an operation against bandits in the northwestern counties of Baringo, Laikipia and Turkana that are inhabited by pastoralists. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News.
Elsewhere, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Chief Executive Officer Twalib Mbarak is accusing a section of men in the coastal region of abdicating their role as heads of household, leading to high illiteracy levels. Mbarak says low education standards have caused an increase in cases of drug and substance abuse among youth who drop out of school due to family breakups.
Speaking in Malindi during the annual Iftar dinner and fundraising organized by Malindi Education Development Association, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Chief Executive Officer Twalib Mbarak said parenting has collapsed in the coastal region as women are bringing up children alone, whether they are divorced or not.
Sisi lazima tufanye bidii, watoto wetu wasome, na kama ni wasichana pia wasome. Hakuna kusema ati wasichana ni kungojea waolewe. Wanaume siku hizi ni waoga, hawataki kuoa. Kwa hivyo wasichana wasome, na tumeona wasichana ni madaktari siku hizi, ni accountant.
Mbarak noted children who lack proper parental guidance at their formative stages are most likely to engage in social vices.
Malezi ni muhimu sana. lazima mtoto anaanzia akiwa na wazazi. Ikiwa wazazi nyinyi hamna ule mwelekeo, basi watoto wataharibika.
5 million shillings was raised during the forum, with leaders present including Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi and the Director of Public Prosecution Nurdin Haji, urging parents not to abdicate their responsibilities.
Elimu ni muhimu. Na bila elimu, jamii ambayo haina elimu, hata nguvu zao kutetea hali yao inakuwa vigumu.
At the end of the day, we are giving whatever we are giving today to improve the education of our county, the education of our country.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Nisi Imano Okoth.
And as the KCSE results celebrations continue to rent the air, we are now joined by our reporter Ruth Wamboi, who is in the streets of Nairobi to have a feel of how the KCSE examination results have been received. Over to you, Ruth.
Good evening, good afternoon, Ben Troy Njue, back from the broadcasting house. We are live here at tea room, whereby we are checking up on how back to school is ongoing here. And not much activity as since students went in the morning, and now there are just few who are stranded and it's starting to rain. Maybe I can speak to the chairman of 2NK Sacco to give us as of how the day has been.
Supervisor.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Unaitwa nani?
Kwa majina naitwa Harun Wairago. Mimi ndiye supervisor hapa Nairobi. Yeah.
Unaweza tuambia back to school imekuwaje kuanzia asubuhi?
Back to school leo haijatuumiza sana juu watoto hawakurudi wote. Na tulikuwa tu na shule kama 5 ambazo zilikuwa zinarudi leo. Yeah.
Wanafunzi wamekuwa wengi masaa ya asubuhi ama ni vipi? Manake sasa hivi tunaona ni wachache sana.
Walianza kufurika kuanzia saa 3 asubuhi. Na ndio sasa tukaonelea tuwapeleke shule kwanza, tuachane na wazazi.
So mmekuwa tu leo mkibeba wanafunzi peke yake, mbebi watu wengine? Hatubebi
hao bila wengine. Tunawapea first priority sababu wanaweza chelewa kufika shule halafu wanarudishwa nyumbani. Yeah.
Na sehemu na walipisha vipi? Kutoka hapa mimi kwenda Nakuru, kwenda Meru hivi.
Tuseme kama ni kutoka hapa kwenda Nyeri huwa tunalipisha 500.
500
kawaida. Sasa kupeleka mpaka shule tunaongeza 100. Ndio wapelekwe mpaka mahali shule iko. Yeah.
Na sasa ni changamoto gani wamekuwa wakiweza? Maana tumejua sasa hivi na huu msimu wa corona tumekuwa pia na changamoto ya upande wa pesa. Wamekuwa wakiweza kulipa hiyo ama kufanyaje? Mnahurumia wana ya kutosha ama?
Hiyo tumewahurumia kabisa. Tumewahurumia kabisa sababu kuongeza tu 100 ndio wapelekwe mpaka shule. Hiyo hata wazazi wenyewe wanafurahia. Yeah.
Ben Troy, it's raining here and I will take you back to studio. We will continue gathering information on back to school here and I will update our viewers in our subsequent bulletin. Back to you, Troy.
Thank you, Ruth, from Accra Road, the tea room, the famous tea room terminus there, giving us actually a feel of the back to school and not on the KCSE results as I had earlier alluded to. Thank you so much, Ruth, for that. Of course, it doesn't seem so quite busy, but because yesterday, of course, a lot of students also had a chance to go back to school and others are going back to school tomorrow. Thank you so much for keeping me company. John Mjema, locked from Kilifi County, mtaa wa Basi. Shukran. Samson Nyandoro, watching from Migori, praying for all pupils and students as they meet others after the long holiday. Thank you. Naxon Okuto, watching from Migori, thank you. Just keep them coming. Let's first have our first break. We'll be right back with more news.
Did you know you can pay your premiums from the comfort of your home using mobile money and online platforms? Avoid cash payments to prevent spread of COVID-19. Stay safe, stay home, save lives. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye QuickBin ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353. Alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka kwenye QuickBin ni bidhaa bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Not interested in Horacio, but I think you're right. I'll make it clear.
The only thing that I regret is that Jose will never know you're his father, and that Constanza's his stepsister.
Constanza! Open up, Constanza, let's talk!
No, Salvador. We already talked about this, didn't we? Please stop insisting what you want. Max, I'm going to have a baby. And you're its father.
Welcome back and thanks for keeping it Channel 1. Moving on to more news, 5 people have sustained injuries after a bus they were traveling in was involved in a road accident along Baragoi-Maralal Road. The bus with 23 passengers on board and overloaded with luggage veered off the slippery road and overturned, injuring the 5. The injured are admitted at the Maralal Referral Hospital and are all out of danger. Area Police Sub-County Commander Sylvester Rotich, while confirming the incident, cautioned road users to be extra careful during the rainy season that may render roads quite slippery.
Wakati alifika sehemu moja anaitwa Boro, alianguka kwa mtaro. Kwa hiyo wakati hiyo ni watu 5 walipata majeraha, wakapelekwa hospitali ya Samburu Referral Hospital. 3 wakatibiwa na kawachilia waende nyumbani.
And still on matters, transport was halted or paralyzed along the Nyahururu-Kinamba Road after heavy downpour rendered a section of the road impassable, causing panic among motorists. Stranded passengers on Gatirima Road were forced to either wait for the rains to subside or use alternative routes. The downpour littered the road with stones and logs that made it difficult for motorists to maneuver, causing panic among residents living on the lower parts of Lariak Forest. They are calling on the government to build a drainage system that will help prevent rainwater from flooding the roads.
Kwa sababu hakuna drainage, inaenda tu ina overflow everywhere. Kwa hivyo tungeomba drainage itengenezwe hapa ndio tuweze kufuka.
Na hii mvua leo imenyesha mvua kubwa sana na imebeba hata mashamba ya watu, imebeba mchanga. Kwa hivyo zile mbegu zilikuwa zimepandwa zote zimebebwa, na hata ni hatari kwa wale watu wanakaa huko chini. Hata unajua hii mvua hata haijaenda siku nyingi, ni kama siku ya 4 hivi leo, na imenyesha mvua kubwa sana leo. Na ni sehemu tu mahali huko ya juu, naona mahali maji inatoka. Kwa hivyo watu hapa chini wamekutiliwa tu na maji.
Moving on, Taita Taveta County government has launched the National Hospital Insurance Fund biometric registration targeting 13,500 households. Taita Taveta Deputy Governor Majala Mlagui, who led the exercise, said the move was aimed at improving access to affordable health care. Speaking during the exercise at Bura Health Center, Mulagui said that the registration would also curb fraud and abuse at all service delivery levels and ease identification of beneficiaries. Residents were advised to register their details with government hospitals for ease access to NHIF services.
Huu mradi wa NHIF unakuja kupunguza hizo gharama. Mradi huu wa NHIF utakuwa ni ushirikiano kati ya county government pamoja na serikali ya kitaifa.
We pay money back, we pay Bura to improve the facility to serve you better. Lakini kwa wale ambao wanajilipia 6,000 per year sounds a lot. Let's look at it per month. It's only 500 shillings per month. So let's try and pay for ourselves as well.
And tea farmers in Nyanduma Tea Zone in Kiambu County are demanding a repeat of polls held last Saturday to pick directors of Kagwe Tea Factory, claiming one of the 7 elected was rigged in. The farmers who held demonstrations at Kagwe Tea Factory said they are reading mischief as the director who was picked to represent Nyanduma Zone is yet to be awarded a certificate.
Kwenye ofisi na sisi wa kumlima tumeamua kukosa kuchuna chai mpaka candidate wetu awe confirmed.
Munya na ofisi yake atutumie officers wenye watasimamia hii elections ndio ikuwe free and fair, kwa sababu vile ilifanywa we don't have any faith na hiyo election yenye ilifanywa.
Wame make sure wale watu wanachaguliwa kwa factories wanachagua watu wao ndo wakude bado waunde ile kitu bado tumeishi nao kwa hiyo miaka yote. So hatuna imani na hao watu, kwa sababu hiyo kateli imeenda ikijiunda make sure kwa kila factory wamechagua ule mtu wanataka, and then huyo mtu ndo watakuwa wakitumia kama pamoja kuiba pesa ya wakulima.
And at least 200 residents who were left homeless last Friday after an alleged forceful eviction from a disputed land at Mwamdudu, Kasemeni ward in Kinango sub-county now want action taken against the private developers claiming to own the 500-acre piece of land. The affected locals, who say for the last few days they have been forced to sleep out in the cold, claim the private developer has colluded with top government officials to grab their ancestral land.
Salama Kenga, a single mother, spent her night seated inside this desolate structure with her children, including an infant.
Mimi nilizaa juzi ya Alhamisi. Nikatoka hospitali mida kama ya saa 12, nikaletwa nyumbani. Saa 6 usiku tukagongewa na maofisa wa JSU, tukaambiwa tutoke, nyumba zinatakana kuvunjwa. Sikuwahi kusave kitu chochote, nilikuwa nakimbilia tu maisha ya watoto wangu watatu.
She is among 200 residents rendered homeless after a forceful eviction from a disputed land at Mwamdudu Kasemeni ward in Kinango sub-county.
Hii shamba imeuzwa bilioni 1. Iwe compensation ya SGR na mradi wa SGR tayari umeisha. Kwa hiyo hii ni one of their plans schemes kuchukua mali ya wananchi. Directors ni Wahindi ambao kuwa wanatumiwa na serikali.
The locals claiming about 8 land cruisers and 2 lorries drove by the area past midnight, demolishing their houses. Little was recovered in the abrupt demolition exercise.
Sisi ni wanadamu, tuna watoto, mifugo imekufa, imekuja laliwa na mawe, kila kitu, hakuna kitu tumeokoa kwa sababu watu waliingia saa 6 usiku na tulikuwa hatuna formation yoyote.
They point an accusing finger to a government official said to have claimed ownership of the land they call their own, calling for the president's intervention.
Na sisi tuna imani na yeye kwa sababu tulimchagua kama rais wetu, mtetezi wa wanyonge na mtetezi wa haki za Mkenya ama raia wa kawaida.
Ninaomba serikali tusaidie. hatuna makazi ya kukaa na hatujui tuende wapi. Kilio chetu ni kusaidika na watoto. Mvua itakuwa yetu, jua litakuwa letu. Sisi tuko hapa nje na tutalala nje na tutaendelea kuishi nje.
Among the destroyed structures are the Mamdudu Secondary School, a dispensary, a children orphanage and houses. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News.
Now listen to this. Diagnosed with an imminent kidney failure 3 years ago, Immaculate Mombi Kimani, then aged 28 years, was distressed and devastated, but soon found strength in prayer and her faith. As she followed her doctor's prescription, faith and prayer became her pillar of strength, gathering numerous prayer pieces from scriptures, and today, her prayer book was launched by no less a personality than Bishop David Kamau of Catholic Archdiocese of Nairobi at the Holy Family Minor Basilica. In launching the book, Bishop Kamau urged youths and to spend their time in pursuit of fruitful and productive endeavors that would not only benefit them but also the wider society, and commended Ms. Kimani for using her time and know-how to come up with the book. The 69-page book focuses on transformative prayers for the family, prayers for breaking substances, bondage, and addiction, among others.
Also, people to ask what inspired me. I remember the time I was grieving with my kidney. There are most prayers which I used to pray here, and they really helped me. And I was able to overcome the challenges I was in. This book will help you to gain confidence and strength to overcome all the challenges and difficulties you are in.
Kwanza amechukua sala katika vitabu mbalimbali, na hasa sala inahusu maisha ya binadamu. Kwa hivyo amechukua sala kutoka mbalimbali, alafu akaweka na njia yake, na ametumia Biblia, Zaburi, Injili, zote zinapatikana katika Injili.
Congratulations to Immaculate Mombi. Well, further afield, the World Health Organization has classified the coronavirus variant first found in India last year as a variant of global concern. They say it easily spreads more than other variants and requires further study.
The COVID-19 variant in India has already spread to more than 30 countries according to the World Health Organization. 3 other variants with the same designation have been found in the UK, South Africa and Brazil. However, the variant is being studied to establish whether it is responsible for the deadly surge in infections in India, which is currently overwhelming hospitals and crematoriums. India reported 366,161 new infections and 3,754 deaths on Monday, and 11 COVID patients died overnight in the city of Tirupati after an oxygen tanker supplying the hospital was delayed. In other news, China has the slowest population growth in decades, according to a census conducted in late 2020. The average annual growth rate was 0.53% over the past 10 years, down from a rate of 0.57% between 2000 and 2010, bringing the population to 1.41 billion. The results add pressure on Beijing to boost measures for couples to have more babies and avert a population decline. Meanwhile, countries worldwide have appealed for calm after days of unrest spiraled into retaliatory attacks by Israel and Palestinians. The US, the European Union, and the UK have urged Israel and the Palestinians to lower tensions as soon as possible. The violence escalated on Monday night after Palestinian militants fired rockets towards Jerusalem. In response, the Israeli military launching airstrikes against militant targets in the Gaza Strip. Palestinians health officials in Gaza say 22 people, including 9 children, had died in the strikes, and in Israel, at least 15 members of the Hamas group that rules Gaza were killed.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye QuickBin ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353, alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka, kwenye QuickBin ni bidhaa bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
Siku moja mosquito ilipata ujauzito, ikazaa mtoto. Sasa hiyo mama ya mosquito ikatuma mtoto mosquito iende ikapige doria iwaje kukaa kwa nyumba. Sasa hii mtoto mosquito ikaenda ikarudi. Hii mtoto mosquito ikaambia mama yake, mama, mimi nimeenda kila mahali watu wanapigia mimi makofi, watu wamefurahiana na mimi sana. Mama, hii mosquito ikaambia mtoto yake, hao wapigi wewe makofi eti wanafurahia wewe, hiyo walikuwa wanataka kuua wewe.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya mosquito, bonyeza *811*967#. Bonyeza *811*967#.
Let's now make sense of shillings and cents. We begin at the Konza Techno City, where 4 startups have been given the green light to offer pilot technology services at the Konza City Technopolis. ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musharu says this is part of an initiative aimed at giving local startups a ready market for their innovations by promoting adoption of local ICT solutions.
3 local and an Israeli ICT startups will provide smart solutions to an estimated 30,000 residents of Konza City Technopolis. The 4 startups have secured an opportunity to pilot the innovations at the Konza City Technopolis in a bidding competition that attracted 99 applicants. Personal WatchGuard, Ikral Hub, and HPAS local ICT startups will pilot the innovations on intelligent asset management, smart parking management, and access management, respectively. On the other hand, Israeli Stepia Assistive Accessibility Technology will offer its services on traffic management.
Israel's innovation and startup ecosystem is quite advanced and has many lessons for us here in Kenya, and partnerships that can enable many things.
ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musharu says piloting of the smart services is part of the government initiative of promoting local ICT content uptake, adding that if successful, the services will be rolled out in other parts of the country.
It gives me confidence that our efforts as a nation towards nurturing our innovation, aptitude, and developing and adopting homegrown solutions is bearing fruit.
Kenya has been encouraged to strengthen ICT global collaboration ventures to secure funding for ICT startups.
Working on these together, coming with different ideas, creates this synergy, a synergy that is very crucial to the success of this smart city, the first smart city in Kenya.
The development just weeks after the Kenyan and Korean government signed a contract worth 9.4 billion shillings for construction of the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology at Konza City.
Elsewhere, residents of Nairobi and its environs can now seek medical services from the comfort of their homes following the launch of a 21 in-network referral medical centers. Penda Health General Manager Kenya Marion Kago says telemedicine niche in Kenya is gaining traction, buoyed by innovation as well as the need for efficiency and convenience in delivery of medical services.
Telemedicine leverages on technology to deliver healthcare to clients at a distance, and with the COVID-19 pandemic limiting movement, telemedicine might be the answer to improve efficiency and reduce healthcare delivery costs. traveling long distances and spending hours in hospital queues might soon be a thing of the past. Residents of Nairobi and its environs will be among the pioneers following the launch of 21 in-network referral medicine centers. The referral center located at Nairobi's Central Business District will provide specialist services such as pediatric, gynecologist and dental consultations and advanced ultrasound diagnostics and laboratory tests.
We do not work in isolation. We work together with the other 21 branches of Penda Medical Centers. And what usually happens is we have other clinicians from the different facilities referring complex cases to this branch.
Our other outpatients facilities are able to, through technology, reach out to the CBD branch, this Kimathi Street Referral Center. They are able to tag in to the specialists we have here.
Elsewhere, Equity Afya, an initiative under the Equity Group Foundation, has invested in modern technology to diagnose, treat and manage patient care. One of the facilities along Gong Road now incorporates the use of artificial intelligence, enabling an eye specialist to diagnose and interpret the overall vision of a client. The artificial intelligence capabilities will analyze multiple patient eye scans and patients' medical history, thus giving a diagnosis that has proven to be 99% accurate with the other manual visual acuity scans or tests. Equity Afya has so far opened 5 new medical centers in Nairobi, bringing the franchise's network to 41.
Moving on, the East Africa community will set up a trade hotline in all EAC border points to provide traders with a platform to register their complaints and get prompt feedback. East Africa Community Secretary General Peter Mathuki says the platform is part of reforms aimed at harmonizing trade standards across the trading bloc and boost the movement of goods and services.
Intertrade within the East African community accounts for partly 15%, despite the economic bloc having a consumer base of 146 million people. The EAC Secretariat says there is need for creation of a communication platform to offer traders vital information on each member state's import requirements to reduce snarl-ups at border points. East African Community Secretary General Peter Mathuki says the soon-to-be-launched trade hotline is part of harmonizing cross-border tariffs strategy to help traders get crucial information on region's trade standards in real time.
So I've seen there's a lot of now goodwill that is happening, and we would want to give any support that is required as an East African community so that we can have intra-EAC trade increase. To support this, we have introduced what we call hotline.
This as the volume of maize imports into Kenya from Tanzania has increased in recent days after the Kenyan government relaxed some import requirements.
Toka tarehe ya jana, toka siku ya jana, bidhaa zikiwemo mahindi kutoka Tanzania ambayo yalikuwa yamezuiwa siku za nyuma, sasa hivi yamekuanza kuingia bila vikwazo vyovyote, na maelekezo ambayo wametupa watendaji wa kituo hichi cha Namanga ni kwamba vile vikwazo vilivyokuwepo vimeondolewa.
Kufikia sasa mahindi imeanza kuingia Kenya kwa wingi. Kwa hivyo tutafanya kazi, tutashirikiana na wenzetu wa Tanzania tuone kama kazi inaenda vizuri.
The EAC Secretariat has earmarked reduction of paperwork at the border points to reduce smuggling of goods into the trading bloc.
And so what is happening, there's a lot of now illegal movements using illegal border points because of these aspects. So we have requested the border management to come up with a structure, a system, to support the small-scale traders so that they don't start doing or using illegal, movements along the border. They use the official border point, and they are supported to make sure that they have their goods moving.
And a little more than 6 months after Boeing 737 MAX was cleared to fly again by U.S. regulators, the aircraft finds itself under intense scrutiny once again. The discovery of a potentially electrical fault last month led to the renewed grounding of more than 100 airplanes belonging to 24 airlines around the world. Here are the details of these and other stories making headlines across the globe.
Deliveries of many more new Boeing 737 MAX aircraft have been suspended. Boeing and the U.S. regulator, the Federal Aviation Administration, say they are working closely to address the issue, but the affair has given new energy to critics who claim the 737 MAX was allowed back into service prematurely and that issues which could have contributed to 2 fatal crashes have not been fully analyzed or addressed. According to Boeing and the FAA, the problem first became apparent during testing of a newly manufactured 737 MAX 8, which had yet to be delivered to its owner. It was found that electrical power systems on the aircraft were not working correctly. The fault was traced to poor electrical bonding. Meanwhile, the biggest U.S. gasoline pipeline will not resume full operations for several more days due to a ransomware cyber attack blamed on a shadowy criminal network called DarkSide. The attack on the Colonial Pipeline, which carries nearly half the fuel consumed along the U.S. East Coast, is one of the most disruptive digital ransom schemes ever reported. While the impact remains to be quantified, the pipeline shutdown will reduce fuel availability in the near term, push up prices, and force refiners to cut production because they have no way to ship the gas. The privately owned company says it is working on restarting in phases with the goal of substantially restoring operational service by the end of the week. Finally, Dell Technologies chief executive and founder Michael Dell says a worldwide lack of semiconductors is proving a challenge for computer manufacturers, but the shortage is likely to persist for some years. A surge in demand for electronic devices coupled with U.S. sanctions against Chinese technology firms has caused the death of the chips, crimping output of items ranging from cars to computers and smartphones. With an annual order volume of $70 billion, the firm is one of the most important customers of many semiconductor makers, but still had to pay a premium to secure supply. He says older and cheaper semiconductors are hard to get hold of.
In sports, Washington Wizards point guard Russell Westbrook broke Oscar Robertson's NBA record for the most career triple-doubles in his size defeat by the Atlanta Hawks last night. Westbrook reached double digits in rebounds, points, and assists for the 182nd time in his career. The 32-year-old finished the night with 28 points, 13 rebounds, and 21 assists. However, Westbrook missed a possible game-winning buzzer beater as the Wizards lost 125-124.
Beal underneath, great look by Westbrook as Beal was able to get through. Another steal. Hutchison's got it this time. Westbrook numbers, leaves it to Gafford. Gafford for the dunk.
As you see, when the Wizards get stops on the defensive